Norse mythology. Whispers from the Cosmos. An excerpt for contemplative listening. A gentle prelude, commentary. As we begin this journey into the profound stories of our forebears, let us allow the mind to drift upon the ancient currents of belief. These myths are not merely tales of thunder and conflict, but serene reflections on the nature of existence, best contemplated when the day's noise has faded. Find a comfortable stillness and let the sublime silence of the Old North guide your way toward rest. Introduction. The First Whispers. Chapter 1. What is mythology, and what is Norse mythology? The word mythology, mythologoa, from mythos, word, tale, fable, and logosi, speech, discourse, is of Greek origin. Anderson notes that the reliance on Latin and Greek terms can often veil the indigenous spirit of our own Gothic Teutonic heritage. We seek not foreign shadows, but the deep, clear essence of the North. Mythology is defined as a system of myths, a collection of popular legends, fables, tales, or stories relating to gods, heroes, demons, or other beings preserved in popular belief. The myth is the oldest form of truth, and mythology is the knowledge the ancients had of the divine. The ultimate object of mythology is to seek and find God. Our Norse forefathers, though they lacked a written revelation, sought the divine through two sacred paths: the introspection of humanity's own intellectual, moral, and physical nature, and the serene observation of the natural world in its vast structures and harmonious dependencies. Let us reflect on how Anderson guides us, suggesting a uniquely divine quality in this faith, a closer, more distinct apprehension of the supreme, unknown God, whom the skald, poet in the Elder Edda dared not name. A soothing cosmic view. For our poetic ancestors, the forces of nature were not abstract sciences, but personal presences. When we think of this, let us replace the harsh clash of science with a gentler awe. The thunderstorm was not a violent discharge, but the mighty god Thor, driving his chariot, the rhythmic roll of his wheels, a powerful yet predictable music, the reflection of self. Mythology mirrors not just the outer world, but the inner life. In the quiet hours, we find Odin's ravens, Hugin, Thought, and Munin, Memory, who fly forth to gather all knowledge, and return to whisper it softly into the All-Father's ear. The Icelandic repository. Though the myths were once the common heritage of all Teutonic peoples, the most comprehensive and systematic record, untouched by the sudden sweep of Christianity that occurred elsewhere, was preserved on the isolated wild island of Iceland, within the sacred texts of the Elder and Younger Eddas. This isolation protected the purity of the ancestral dream. Thomas Carlyle wisely emphasizes that this Scandinavian paganism is the creed of our fathers, a sublime, simple recognition of the workings of physical nature as a thing wholly miraculous, stupendous, and divine. Chapter 2. Why call this mythology Norse? Although the original mythological system was common to all Teutonic nations, its development differed as each branch settled into its homeland. The abrupt adoption of Christianity in continental Europe destroyed much of the local literature. In Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Iceland, however, the old faith survived long enough, until the 11th century, to be matured and fully recorded. The reason we call it Norse mythology is that the most complete and systematically documented resources, the Eddas sagas come from the Norsemen who settled in Iceland. While we believe the core myths were shared by Swedes and Danes, the details of their specific religious customs are largely wanting or filtered through the Icelandic perspective. The Icelandic records provide the fully bloomed flower of Gothic paganism, preserving the original spirit against the Latinizing efforts of the clergy. Chapter 3: Norse mythology compared with the Greek. Let us compare this Nordic vision with the sunny myths of Greece, noticing the contrasting emotional landscapes. Epic versus tragedy. Greek mythology unfolds as an epic poem, bright, graceful, focused on eternal youth and this world beauty. Norse mythology, conversely, resonates as a profound tragedy, marked by earnest sincerity, deep thought, and the inevitability of change. The end of all things. The most singular feature of the Norse view is the concept of Ragnarok, the twilight and heroic death of the gods. The Greek gods endure forever on Olympos, consuming ambrosia. The Norse deities, including Odin himself, are mortal, bound by fate, the Norns, to perish, only to rise again in a new, purified creation. This cyclical view offers a serene sense of finality and renewal. The lands whisper, the Greek mind, shaped by mild climates, clung to the beautiful earth. The Norse mind, tempered by the vast, dark, and majestic scenery of Norway, the towering snow-crowned mountains, the profound, quiet fjords, formed a sublimer, more concentrated conception of the universe. The Norwegian landscape is a mixture of the gigantic and the picturesque, instilling a sense of awe and a profound longing for the light and peace that must surely lie beyond such a rugged struggle. Chapter 4: Roman mythology. Anderson gently dismisses Roman Latin mythology, describing it as largely derivative and prosaic, lacking the indigenous, imaginative spark of the Greek or Norse systems. He urges readers to return to the rich Teutonic roots of their own heritage, to English, Anglo-Saxon, and especially Icelandic, as the truest path to understanding the Gothic spirit that values freedom, profound thought, and genuine feeling. Chapter 5: Interpretation of Norse mythology. How should we approach these sacred tales? Historical interpretation. This views the gods as actual historical ancestors who were later mythologized, e.g. Odin as a powerful, wise chieftain. Though interesting, this interpretation is seen as too literal and prosaic, stripping the myths of their poetic truth. Ethical interpretation. This sees the gods as personifications of virtues and vices. Odin is wisdom, Balder is goodness, Thor is strength. This view resonates deeply with the human experience. Physical interpretation. This is the interpretation from nature, where divinities are personified forces and phenomena, e.g. Thor as thunder, Heimdall as the rainbow. The most complete and calming understanding, however, lies in combining the physical and ethical, spiritual. The forces of nature, Thor's hammer, the silent forest, are personified, but they are simultaneously woven with human moral and spiritual experience, bravery, memory, innocence. The gods are the ordaining powers of nature, yet the myths are elaborated to reflect the inner life of man, thus offering a mirror for the soul. Chapter 6: The Norse. Mythology furnishes abundant material for art. The sublime atmosphere and profound imagery of Norse mythology offer resulting genius back into the world. The very names Odin, Balder, Thor, Frey suggest lofty, powerful, and majestic forms for art, distinct from the nude, often frivolous themes of the scythe. The Norse vision is inherently chaste, with its strength residing in deep sincerity and profound emotion rather than superficial grace. Chapter 7. The Sources and Influence of the Asa Faith. The primary sources of this deep wisdom are the elder, or Semon's Edda, poetry, and the younger, or Snorri's Edda, prose commentary. The Elder Edda, an ancient collection of powerful, raw poems, presents the full mythology in a magnificent, untamed form, filled with huge, wild, and fragmentary beauty. The profound moral framework of this faith is summarized in the Avamal, High Song of Odin, offering precepts of honesty, bravery, prudence, and hospitality, qualities that forged a spirit of relentless independence in our ancestors. This system, which broke the chains of Roman despotism, taught men that nature made all free and equal. Part 1. The Creation and Preservation of the World. A Dream of Beginnings. Chapter 1. The Creation. Section 1. The Original Condition of the World. Ginnungagap. In the time before time, there was only the immense, silent void, expressed only negatively. No sand, no sea, no cooling billows, no earth, no heaven, only Ginnungagap, the yawning gap, and no grass. In this primordial state, two worlds existed. Niflheim, the nebulous world, far to the north, a realm of cold and frost, and Muspelheim, the fire world, far to the south, blazing with intense light and heat, guarded by the fire giant Surt with his flaming sword. Section 2. The Origin of the Giants, the Rime Vapors. The creative process began when the rivers, Elivigar, flowing from Niflheim Spring, Vergelmer, hardened into layers of ice and rime within the silent gap. When the heated blast from Muspelheim met this frozen vapor, the drops quickened into life, forming the giant Ymir. He was not good, as were all his kind. From the sweat of his sleep and the union of his feet sprang the race of frost giants. Section 3. The Origin of the Cow and the Birth of the Gods. Immediately thereafter, the cow Autumnbla was also formed from the melting rime. She nourished Ymir with the 4 rivers of milk from her teats. The cow fed by licking the rhinestones, and with her gentle, creative tongue she revealed a form. First hair, then a head, and finally the whole man, Bor, who was fair, great, and mighty. Bor's son, Bor, married Besla, and their 3 sons were the supreme gods, Odin, Vile, and Ve. Section 4. The Cosmic Reshaping, the Norse Deluge. This powerful trio, Odin, Vile, and Ve, slew the giant Ymir. The flood of blood from his wounds drowned the entire race of frosted giants, save one, Bergelmer, who escaped in a skiff with his family. They dragged Ymir's lifeless body into the middle of Ginnungagap and began the serene act of creation. From his blood, they made the vast seas and waters. From his flesh, they formed the land. From his bones, they built the towering mountains. From his skull, they created the vaulted heavens, setting a dwarf at each of the Muspelheim were placed in the heavens to provide light. The sun, Sol, and moon, Man, driven by swift horses, Arvak and Alsvin, traverse the sky night, dark and swarthy, and day, light and fair, ride successively around the world on their steeds, Rimfax, Rime Mane, and Skinfax, Shining Mane, in a rhythmic 24-hour cycle. The speed of the sun is a flight of fear. Two cosmic wolves, Skull and Hate, pursue the sun and moon, destined one day to devour them. The wind itself is caused by the giant Rasvelger, corpse swallower, who sits in the northern extremity of heaven, and when he spreads his eagle wings for flight, the winds arise. The bridge connecting the earth to the heavens is Bifröst, the vibrating way, what we call the rainbow, a colorful and divine structure built to be a strong path for the gods, though it shall one day be shattered. Section 6. The Golden Age and the Creation of Man. In the celestial city of the gods, Asgard, a golden age of pure innocence dawned. They built the splendid All-Gladsheim, home of gladness, and possessed such abundance of gold that they used it for all their house furniture. This blissful age lasted until the arrival of 3 giant maids from Jotunheim, the Norns, who introduced the concept of immutable destiny. Still lacking mankind, the gods found 2 trees on the seashore. Odin gave them life and spirit. Honor bestowed upon them reason and the power of motion. Loder granted them blood, the keen senses, and a fair complexion. The man was named Ask, Ash, and the woman Embla, Elm. They were given Midgard as their gentle home. Section 8. The divisions of the world, the 9 realms. The cosmos is a vast, profound structure of 9 interconnected worlds. Muspelheim, the highest realm of fire and light. Asaheim, the home of the gods, vaulted above the earth. Midgard/Manaheim, the world of men, a central disk encircled by the sea. Jotunheim, the world of the giants, across the ocean. Niflheim, the lowest world of mist, cold, and primordial darkness, and 4 others, Joselfaheim, light elves, Vanaheim, Vans Shah, sea gods, Svartalfaheim, dark elves, and Helheim, the dead. Chapter 2. The Preservation, Yggdrasil. The entire universe is contained and sustained within one sublime image, the great world tree, Yggdrasil. It is the great ash of existence, the 3 roots. This colossal, life-giving tree strikes 3 great roots to the foundations of all things. One reaches the gods, Asaheim, one reaches the giants, Jotunheim, and one extends to the source of gold and death, Niflheim, where the serpent Nidhogg gnaws constantly at the life source. Mimer's fountain, wisdom. Under the root stretching toward the giants is the sacred spring of Mimer, keeper of wisdom and wit. Odin once sacrificed an eye to drink from this fountain, showing the ultimate price of deep knowledge. Urd's fountain, fate. Under the root in Asaheim rests the holy Urdar fountain. Here the gods meet for judgment, riding over the rainbow bridge Bifröst. Here dwell the three most powerful maidens, the Norns, Fates, Urd, past, Verdande, present, and Skuld, future, who fix the lifetime of all beings and daily water the great ash with a sacred spring to keep its boughs eternally green. The vast tree is always in motion. An eagle sits in the highest bough. A squirrel runs ceaselessly up and down the trunk, stirring strife, and numerous serpents gnaw at the deepest root. Yet eternally sprinkled by the Norns, Yggdrasil stands firm, a cosmic testament to enduring life amid continuous destruction and change. The second installment of your celestial story begins. Please ensure your listening environment is calm and serene. Part 2. The Life and Exploits of the Gods. The Cycle of Being. A moment of contemplation, commentary. Having witnessed the sublime architecture of the cosmos, let us now turn our attention to the divine consciousness that animates it. These deities, the Aesir, are not static idols, but living embodiments of the eternal principles we observe in the world and feel within our hearts. Their lives are a profound mirror, reflecting the grand drama of human experience. Find comfort in the deep, powerful rhythm of their existence. Chapter 1. Odin, the all-pervading spirit. Section 1. Odin, the chief of the gods. The first and eldest of the Aesir is Odin. His name itself suggests the verb vada, meaning to walk or to pervade. He is the subtle, all-pervading spirit, Old Norse and of the world, quietly ordering and governing creation itself. He is the fountainhead of wisdom, the author of all poetry, and the very origin of inspiration. Odin, the All-Father, governs all things, and though the other deities possess great power, they serve and obey him much like children trust their father. He is particularly mindful of the heroes, guiding them through life, strengthening their courage, and ensuring that they fall in honorable combat when their time comes. Section 2. The Visions of Odin. Odin is often known as the All-Father because he is the progenitor of all the gods, and Valfather, father of the slain, for he welcomes the chosen heroes into his hall, Valhall. He possesses nearly 200 names in the poetry of the Skalds, each one revealing a different facet of his infinite, wandering spirit. Section 3. Odin's appearance and attributes. Imagine Odin in his quiet, ancient majesty, a tall figure characterized by his missing eye, long beard, and a broad-brimmed hat that suggests the arched vault of the sky itself. He wears a variegated cloak, symbolizing the ever-changing atmosphere in the heavens. Hugin, thought, and Munin, memory. His most serene companions are the two ravens, Hugin, thought, reflection, and Munin, memory. They sit patiently upon his shoulders, and each day at daybreak he sends them out to fly over the spacious earth, gathering all the world's secrets and whispering them back to him at nightfall. It is through this perpetual flow of contemplation and remembrance that Odin's wisdom is maintained. Geir and Frigg, the quiet consumers, two silent wolves. Geir, the greedy, and Frigg, the voracious, rest patiently at his feet. Odin, requiring no earthly sustenance himself, gives them the meat set upon his table, existing instead on wine alone, a pure, spiritual drink. This image is a calming tableau of ultimate control over earthly appetites. Draupnir, represents the constant multiplication of ideas and the continuous chain of golden moments that link one historical event to the next, flowing like a tranquil stream through time. Sleipnir, the heavenly steed. His 8-footed steed, Sleipnir, is the best of all horses, able to ride through air and water. This magnificent creature is more than a mere mount. It is a profound metaphor for the winds of heaven, which blow from 8 directions, or perhaps even the courser of the poet's soul, carrying the spirit safely to its high destination. Section 5. The Journeys of the All-Father. Odin's perpetual wanderings throughout the worlds reflect the pervasive nature of the divine spirit, seeking wisdom and testing the character of men. Odin and Mimir's Fountain, the tale of Odin's ultimate sacrifice for wisdom, is deeply poignant. To gain a single drink from Mimir's Fountain, where the deepest knowledge is concealed, the All-Father willingly left one of his eyes as a pledge. This symbolizes the profound cost of spiritual insight and the recognition that knowledge requires a focused sacrifice of the limited physical senses. Each morning, Mimir drinks the golden mead, Aurora, that flows over Odin's eye, joining the light of heaven with the deep, quiet knowledge of the past, Mimir. Section 13. Gunlad, the flow of inspiration. The origin of poetry itself is given a magnificent form. Poetry is an inspiring drink, kept by the giantess Gunlad within a strongly guarded cavern. Odin, as bulwark, the one who accomplishes difficult work, must struggle to win Gunlad's affection and gain access to the precious mead, which he then brings to the upper world to share with men. This beautifully illustrates that inspiration, the meat of poetry, is a treasure that demands great labor and sacrifice, a quiet struggle of the spirit before it can be born into the world. When Odin escapes the giant's realm by transforming into an eagle, soaring away with the precious liquid, it shows how easily the highest form of creative energy can transcend earthly bonds. Section 14. Saga, the wisdom of history. Odin is also the quiet friend of history. The goddess Saga dwells in her hall, Sokvabek, the brook of the deep. Here, amid the cool, flowing billows, Odin and Saga drink together every day from golden cups. This imagery offers a calming sense of continuity, suggesting that the spirit refreshes itself eternally from the deep, pure stream of the past, preparing for the future. Section 15. Odin as the inventor of runes. The runes, which means secret, are the mystical characters that hold the power to subdue and control nature. Odin acquires them through immense, dedicated suffering. He hung for 9 nights wounded on the world tree Yggdrasil. He neither ate nor drank, but peered downward into the darkness, wailing until the deep wisdom of the runes was revealed to him. This is a profound image of intense, focused meditation, a complete sacrifice of the physical self to unlock the deeper truths of the cosmos and the mysteries of written language. Chapter 2. Hermod, Tyr, Heimdall, Brage, and Eden. Guardians of virtue and order. Section 2. Tyr, the god of immovable honor. Tyr is the intrepid god of martial honor. His ultimate sacrifice reveals the core meaning of his existence. when the monstrous Fenris wolf had to be chained, Tyr alone was brave enough to place his hand in the monster's jaws as a pledge of good faith. The wolf tore off his hand, leaving Tyr forever one-armed, yet eternally famed for his integrity and courage. Tyr is the quiet embodiment of valor and moral steadfastness, willingly sacrificing a part of himself for the greater cosmic order. Section 3. Heimdall, the Bridge of Grace. Heimdall is known as the White God, BTS, representing purity and shining protection. He is the serene warder of the gods, eternally positioned at the end of the Bifröst rainbow. He needs less sleep than a bird, and his hearing is so acute, he can hear the grass growing on the earth and the wool on a sheep's back. This sensitivity is a beautiful symbol of perfect, all-encompassing awareness. His horn, the Gjallar horn, when sounded, is heard throughout the universe. Heimdall is the sublime representation of the rainbow, the peaceful bridge between the divine and the mortal realms, a gentle, multi-hued sign of covenant and grace. Section 4. Brage and Eden, the inspiration of renewal. Brage, Odin's son, is the god of eloquence and poetry. Runes are carved upon his tongue, signifying his mastery of language and the art of expression. His wife, Eden, constant activity and renewal, holds a treasure of eternal comfort, the apples that the gods must taste whenever they feel the creep of old age, ensuring their perpetual youth and vigor. This pair offers a soothing vision of the mind's ability to refresh itself. Brage's eloquence inspires, and Idun's apples represent the ever-renewing source of vitality found in spring and nature's cycle, a gentle promise that renewal always follows decay. The story of Loke stealing Idun and her apples, causing the gods to age and weaken, is a powerful metaphor for the dark season, where life's vitality is held captive until the warmth, Loke's fire, is controlled, and the spring, Eden, returns. A moment of contemplation, commentary. We now turn to the deities who embody the very essence of the physical world and the cosmic struggle between order and chaos. In their stories, we find the sublime patterns of the seasons, the powerful force of nature, and the ultimate victory of goodness, themes designed to calm the mind and soothe the spirit. Chapter 3. Balder and Nanna, Hodr, Vale, and Forsete. Section 1 and 2. Balder, the good, the unblemished light. Balder is the most beloved of all the gods, so fair that bright rays of light seem to issue from him. He embodies the purest, most gentle, and wisest light of the cosmos. His dwelling is Breidablik, the broad shining splendor, where nothing unclean can ever enter. Imagine this light, so sacred that his mother, Frigg, extracts an oath from every single thing in the world, from fire, water, metal, stone, beast, and creeping thing, that none shall harm him. This universal pact of peace makes Balder invulnerable. The gods turn this very safety into a gentle, playful pastime. They gather to throw darts and weapons at him, knowing they will fall harmlessly away. Yet this universal peace is disrupted by the intrusion of evil. Loki, the embodiment of malice, learns that only one small shrub was overlooked in the oath-taking, the mistletoe, which Frigg deemed too young and feeble to swear. Loke, in a wicked guise, fetches this innocent twig and tricks the blind god. Hodr, darkness or the unthinking cold of winter, into casting it at Balder. The pure light of Balder is pierced, and he falls lifeless. The great lament, the cosmic weeping. The shock is so great that the gods are struck speechless. Balder's wife, Nanna, the floral goddess, dies instantly from grief, her heart broken. All things weep for Balder, men, animals, stones, and metals, just as nature weeps dew when emerging from frost. The only exception is the heartless giantess Thok, Loke in disguise, who refuses to shed a single tear, thus condemning Balder to the realm of hell. A calming interpretation, meditate on this universal sorrow. Balder is the brilliant summer light, and his death is the inevitable triumph of the dark winter. Hodr, his funeral, where his ship Ringhorn is launched upon the sea for his pyre, is the solemn moment when nature itself appears to retreat and grieve, awaiting the promise of renewal. Even the stones in Iceland are still said to weep for Balder. Section 4. Veil, the vengeance of renewal. The death of light does not go unanswered. Veil, a son of Odin and the goddess Rind, the hard frozen earth, is destined to avenge Balder. He is a fierce, single-minded warrior, and the prophecies foretold that when he was only 1 night old, he would neither wash his hands nor comb his hair before carrying Balder's adversary to the funeral pyre. He slays Hodr, ensuring that the light, though temporarily extinguished, will return. A calming interpretation. Veil's sudden action is not merely violence, but the swift, necessary breaking of the winter's chains. His birth from the union of Odin, spirit, and Rind, frozen earth, signifies the potent force of life bursting forth from the seemingly sterile cold. His purity, unwashed hands and uncombed hair, emphasizes the primal, uncorrupted purpose of this cyclical renewal. Section 3. Forsete, the peace of justice. Forseth, the son of Balder and Nanna, is the quiet deity of reconciliation and justice. He dwells in the golden and silver-adorned hall Glitnir, where all who bring their disputes are perfectly reconciled. His existence confirms that even after the profoundest tragedy, ultimate justice and peace will prevail, echoing the quiet certainty of dawn after the darkest night. Chapter 4. Thor, his wife, Sif and son Elir. Section 1. Thor, the defender of order and strength. Thor, Old Norse, Thor, meaning thunder, is the strong defender of the Aesir and mankind, second only to Odin in importance. He is the personification of the dynamic, benevolent forces of nature, responsible for protection and stability. The Thunder Chariot. He has a large red beard and rides a chariot drawn by 2 goats, Ten Grimjost, Teeth Gnasher, and Tan Greisner, fire-flashing teeth. The sound of his rolling chariot is the thunder, and the flashes from his goat's teeth are the lightning. The hammer Mjolnir, his primary weapon, is his formidable hammer. Mjolnir, the crusher, which he wields with iron gauntlets and a belt of strength, making Yarder that doubles his divine power. Mjolnir is the great cosmic force that strikes down all destructive giants, the forces of chaos and barren rock, but always returns, symbolizing the reliable, cyclical nature of protection. Wife and son. His wife, Sif is the beautiful, fair-haired goddess of the earth, often identified as the ripe, waving field of grain after the harvest. His stepson, Uller, is the god of winter, famed for his bow and snow skates. Section 5. Thor and the Midgard serpent, the test of courage. The sheer scale of Thor's physical exploits is truly humbling. The most famous test of his strength involves the world-encircling serpent, Jormungandr, offspring of Loki, which lies hidden in the deep ocean, the fishing trip. On a journey with the giant Heimer, Thor insisted on rowing the boat far out into the most dangerous waters, far beyond the ordinary fishing grounds, where the giant warned the Midgard serpent lay. Thor took a mighty ox head for bait and cast his line deep into the sea. The serpent took the bait, and Thor pulled with such strength that his feet pushed through the floor of the boat and braced against the ocean floor. The unfinished battle. Thor hauled the monstrous serpent up to the surface, where he stood ready to strike it with Mjolnir. However, the giant Heimer, terrified by the sight, severed the line, allowing the serpent to sink back into the deep. Thor struck the giant, and the serpent sank, but the struggle remained unfinished. A calming interpretation. The Midgard serpent symbolizes the great, wild, and chaotic ocean itself. Thor's engagement with it is the powerful, inevitable struggle of order against chaos. The serpent's escape suggests that chaos is never fully destroyed, but merely subdued and returned to its proper bounds, allowing life to continue. A comforting thought that the world's destructive elements are always being managed. Chapter 5. Vidar, the silent, unconquerable nature. Vidar the Silent is a son of Odin and the giantess Grid, the wild, unsubdued nature. He is almost as strong as Thor, and is associated with the impenetrable, primeval forests. His silence reflects the quiet, enduring power of raw nature, uncorrupted by the schemes of gods or men. The Iron Shoe. Vidar wears a magnificent iron shoe, made from the scraps of leather cut from the toes and heels of shoes, pieces that human beings must intentionally discard to assist the gods, the Vindicator. Vidar is the ultimate avenger, destined to survive Ragnarok and slay the Fenris wolf, tearing its jaws apart with his own hands. A calming interpretation. Vidar is the profound concept of imperishable matter, the unkillable, quiet force of the earth and forest. While Odin and Thor may perish, nature itself, in the form of Vidar, remains eternal and enduring, a silent foundation for a future world. His steady, quiet strength is a promise of stability that lasts beyond the current turmoil. The fourth installment of your celestial story continues, preparing your mind for its deepest descent into rest. Part 2. The Life and Exploits of the Gods. Conclusion. The unfolding of chaos and the inevitable end. A moment of contemplation, commentary. We now approach the complex, contradictory figure of the trickster and the ultimate destiny foreseen in the ancient Eddas. Lok embodies the necessary shadow, the force of change and dissolution without which renewal cannot occur. His final fate is a soothing promise that even the most chaotic elements are ultimately bound, ensuring the possibility of future peace. Chapter 7. The Development of Evil. Lok and his Offspring. Section. Lok, the Paradoxical Spirit. is one of the most profound figures in this mythology. He is the spirit of contradiction, not fully a god, Aesir, nor entirely a giant, Jotun. He is often called Odin's blood brother, a symbol that even in the highest spiritual unity, the potential for discord exists. He embodies evil in a seductive form, full of beauty and charm, yet inwardly mutable and malicious. In nature, he is the corrosive element, and in man, he is the source of disruptive passions and deceit. The fire of change. His name is often linked to fire, Logi, and the heated, unsteady air, Lopter, representing a force that is necessary for creation, but disastrous when unchecked. Lok is responsible for many troubles, yet his actions often inadvertently lead to good results, such as the forging of powerful divine treasures. Section 2. Lok's monstrous offspring. With the giantess Angerboda, anguish-boding, Loki fathered 3 world-shaking beings, whom Odin wisely attempted to contain. Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent. Odin cast this monster into the ocean surrounding the world. It grew so fast that it encircles the entire earth, holding its own tail in its mouth. This image represents the bound yet immense power of the chaotic ocean. Hel, pale death. Hel was cast into Niflheim, the realm of mist and deepest cold. She was given dominion over those who die of sickness or old age. She is described as half-livid and half the color of human flesh, a ghastly presence. Her hall is named Elvidnir, place of storm. Her table is hunger, and her bed is care. Her description is an ancient contemplation on the stark reality of the final natural cessation of life, stripped bare of martial glory. Fenrir, the Fenris wolf. This monster grew terrifyingly large. The gods tricked him into being bound with a silken cord, Gleipnir, which was made of subtle, seemingly impossible things, like the sound of a cat's footfall and the roots of mountains. The wolf agreed to be bound only if Tyr placed his hand in its jaws as a pledge. The wolf succeeded in biting off Tyr's hand, confirming the great cost of suppressing chaos. The wolf's howling now flows as the river Von, where he is bound until the final day. Section 6. Lok's chaining, the binding of discord. Lok's malice culminates in the death of Balder. For this ultimate betrayal, the gods hunted him down. After a chase where he transformed into a salmon, the gods finally caught him in a net, the final restraint. Loki was dragged into a cavern and bound with iron fetters to 3 sharp-pointed rocks. Above him, the giantess Skad, the cold mountain stream, suspended a serpent so that its venom would drip onto his face, the loyal companion. However, his devoted wife, Sigyn, stands faithfully by him, holding a cup to catch the venom. When she turns away to empty the cup, a few drops fall upon Loki, making him writhe so violently that the entire earth shakes, creating what mortals call earthquakes. A calming interpretation, meditate upon the steadfastness of Sigyn, who, in this picture, is the embodiment of faithful, enduring human love. Her constant vigilance minimizes the suffering caused by Loki's chaotic nature. His tremors are the periodic, necessary movements of the earth, a sign that the fiery impulse of change is merely restrained, not eliminated, waiting for the ultimate end. Part 3. Ragnarok and Regeneration. The Great Silence and the New Dawn. A moment of contemplation, commentary. cleansing fire that makes way for a purified, eternal beginning. Let the thought of this grand dissolution be a gentle release, allowing all struggle to fade. Chapter 1: Ragnarok, the Twilight of the Gods. Ragnarok, the Twilight of the Gods, is the inevitable dissolution of the present world, foretold by a descent into crime and a terrifying Fimbulwinter, great winter, that lasts for 3 years. The signs: stars are hurled from the heavens, mountains collapse, and the bonds of the Fenris wolf and Loke are shattered. The Midgard serpent writhes onto the land, the final battle. The gods and the heroes of Valhall ride out to the plain of Vigrid, Battlestead, to meet the forces of chaos. The Fenris wolf, the Midgard serpent, Loke leading the legions of hell, and the fire giant Surt leading the sons of Muspelheim. The heroes fall. Odin rides against the Fenris wolf and is swallowed whole. Thor slays the Midgard serpent, but retreats 9 paces and falls dead, poisoned by its venom. Frey falls to Surt, fighting bravely, yet hampered by the loss of his magical sword. Tyr and the ferocious hell dog Garm fight and slay one another. The cleansing fire. Finally, Vidar, the silent god, avenges his father by slaying the Fenris wolf, tearing its jaws apart with his iron shoe. Surt then flings fire over the entire world, and the consumed earth sinks down beneath the sea. Chapter 2: Regeneration, the Undying Promise. From this total destruction springs the sublime hope of the new world. A world renewed. The Vala sees the earth arise the second time from the sea, completely green. Cascades fall, and the eagle soars from the lofty mountains, pursuing its prey in a serene new existence. The surviving gods. Not all is lost. The pure, stabilizing forces survive. Vidar and Vale, silence and vengeance, renewal, live on the plain of Ida, where Asgard once stood. Mode, courage, and Magne, strength, sons of Thor, arrive, bringing their father's hammer. Mjolnir, Balder and Hoder, the light and the darkness, return from hell and sit together in harmony, calling to mind the mysteries of the old world. A new humanity, a new race of mankind, live life and lift Thraser, striving for life, survive the conflagration hidden in Hodmeimer's forest. They will repopulate the earth, sustained only by the pure morning dew. The eternal rest. Above this renewed world stands Gimle, the new hall, its roof of gold outshining the sun. There the virtuous shall dwell forever, enjoying delights, their existence freed from the chaotic struggle of the old world. This is the 5th and final installment of your celestial story. Please let your mind surrender to the soothing imagery as the cosmos settles into its eternal peace. Part 3: Ragnarok and Regeneration. Conclusion. The unfolding of peace. A moment of contemplation, commentary. The story must end to begin anew. We now revisit the final dissolution, but hold fast to the certainty that destruction is merely a transition. As the flame of the old world subsides, let your spirit anticipate the deep calm and perfect harmony of the world and strength serves only peace. Chapter 1. Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. Recapitulation. Recall that Ragnarok is not merely a violent end, but the final necessary conflict that purges the universe of contradiction and corruption. The final combat, the vast battlefield of Vigrid, witnesses the mutual annihilation of opposing forces. The chaotic elements, the Fenris wolf, the Midgard serpent, and the fire giant Surt, are unleashed to fight the divine order. Every act of destruction, however terrible, is an essential step toward cleansing the world of its inherent evil. The ultimate sacrifice, the heroic deaths of the gods, particularly Odin, swallowed by the wolf, and Thor, poisoned by the serpent, are sacrifices that pay the final price for existence, ensuring that the flawed old world order cannot taint the new. The great silence, as Surt flings fire across the cosmos and the earth sinks into the ocean. All noise ceases. This cataclysm is the ultimate cosmic silence, the moment of perfect rest before the next breath of creation. Chapter 2. Regeneration, the undying promise. Final imagery. From this serene darkness, a purified reality is born. A world arises. The Vala, prophetess, sees the earth arise the second time from the sea, completely green. The land is pristine, cascades fall gently, and the air is clear, suitable for the soaring eagle. This imagery, the very essence of rebirth, is an invitation to deep, peaceful surrender. The surviving principles. The new world is ruled not by the stormy passion of the old gods, but by eternal balanced principles. Harmony of opposites, Balder, light, and Hodder, darkness, return from hell to sit together in perfect harmony, calmly conversing about the ancient mysteries. Their peaceful reunion signifies the end of their tragic conflict and the acceptance of duality. This end is the final greatest promise of the Norse cosmos, that every struggle, every sorrow, every cycle of death and rebirth leads only to a destination of eternal rest and profound, unwavering peace, enduring force, mode, courage, and strength. Sons of Thor survive, possessing their father's hammer Mjolnir. In this new age, the tremendous power of Mjolnir is wielded not for constant battle, but for stability and peace, ensuring a protected realm. Eternal matter, Vidar, the silent, enduring nature, and Vale, the renewal force, remain, representing the incorruptible, quiet foundation of existence. New life, the new humanity. Live, and live Thrizer, striving for life. Live peacefully in Hodmeimer's forest, sustained by the purity of the morning dew. The eternal home. The highest vision is that of Gimli, the new hall, its roof of gold outshining the sun, where the virtuous shall always dwell, and evermore delights enjoy. This is the ultimate destination, a sanctuary of pure bliss, beyond the reach of any future corruption. The terrible dragon, Nidhogg, who once gnawed